Mama, please. I have nowhere else to go.
Why did you come back?
I need your help.
Now you need my help?
Amaka couldn't answer. 3 years earlier, she had been desperate to leave this same village. She had promised herself she would never come back. And she had meant it. Amaka had grown up with very little. Her father died when she was 6, leaving Ngozi to raise her alone. Every morning before sunrise, Ngozi would light a small charcoal stove beside the roadside and roast corn. She would spend hours under the hot sun, saving every naira she could make. Whenever Amaka needed school fees, Ngozi found a way. Whenever Amaka needed books, Ngozi sold more corn. Whenever Amaka fell sick, Ngozi stayed awake beside her. But Amaka never saw the sacrifice. She only saw poverty. She hated the old house. She hated the cracked walls. Most of all, she hated when her classmates saw her mother selling roasted corn.
I will never live like this.
After university, she moved to Lagos. That was where she met Daniel. Daniel was the son of a wealthy businessman. He drove expensive cars, lived in a beautiful apartment, and knew all the right people. For Amaka, he represented everything she had ever wanted. Daniel took her to expensive restaurants. He bought her beautiful clothes. He introduced her to people who spoke about businesses, vacations, and luxury homes. Soon, Amaka stopped sounding like the village girl she once was. Then Daniel's family learned about her mother. His mother asked Amaka where her parents lived. Amaka hesitated. In Enugu. What does your mother do? Amaka looked away. She sells food. She couldn't bring herself to say roasted corn. Not long afterward, Ngozi called.
My daughter, I want to visit you in Lagos.
Mama, please don't.
Why?
I have
All right.
work. And things are busy here. I don't want people here knowing where I came from.
All right, my daughter.
Amaka thought the matter was over. She didn't know that Daniel's family was already making plans to remove her from their son's life. Daniel's behavior changed almost overnight. He stopped calling. He stopped taking Amaka out. Whenever she asked what was wrong, he said he was busy. Then one evening, Amaka arrived at Daniel's apartment and saw another woman sitting in the living room.
Daniel,
Amaka, we need to talk.
my son is getting married soon.
Talk.
You said you loved me.
I did.
Then what happened?
My family doesn't approve of you.
Amaka felt her heart sink. She reminded him of everything they had shared. Daniel simply shook his head. You need to move on. Within days, everything disappeared. The apartment she lived in belonged to Daniel. The car he gave her was taken away. The friends who had surrounded her when she had money suddenly stopped answering her calls. Amaka sold her jewelry, then her expensive clothes, then anything else she could sell. One night, she sat alone in a tiny room, staring at her phone. There were dozens of missed calls from one person, Mama. She ignored them. She was still too proud. Then, her landlord knocked on the door. Your rent is overdue. Amaka begged for more time. He refused. She packed the few things she had left. That was when she realized something terrifying. She had nowhere to go. She couldn't return to Daniel. She couldn't return to her wealthy friends. And the only person who had always been there for her was the woman she had pushed away, her mother. With tears in her eyes, Amaka finally called Ngozi. The phone rang. No answer. She called again. Nothing. For the first time, Amaka became afraid. Amaka returned to Enugu. But when she reached her village, something felt different. The small roadside stall where Ngozi used to roast corn was gone. In its place stood a modern food shop. Amaka walked inside.
I'm looking for Mama Ngozi.
Madam Ngozi is at the factory.
Factory?
She followed the directions and eventually arrived at a large building. Workers were moving boxes into delivery vans. On the boxes was a name, Ngozi Foods. Amaka stared at it in disbelief. Then she saw her mother. Ngozi walked out of the building carrying a folder. She looked healthy, confident, successful.
Please forgive me. You told me you were ashamed of me.
I was wrong.
You stopped answering my calls.
I was wrong.
You told me not to come to Lagos.
I know. Mama, I'm sorry.
I know.
Years later, Amaka became one of the managers of Ngozi Foods. Whenever people asked about her success, she always gave the same answer. My mother taught me that being poor is not shameful. Forgetting the people who sacrificed for you is. And whenever Amaka passed the old roadside where her mother once sold roasted corn, she remembered the little girl she had been and the mother who had loved her even when she didn't deserve it. Because sometimes the person you are trying hardest to escape is the very person who was carrying you toward the life you prayed for.